All right, welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're a data scientist who's leveling up into MLOps, you know exactly how fast a project can get, well, complicated. Today, we're going to dive into one specific VS Code feature that is an absolute game changer for turning that chaos into control. We're talking about VS Code workspaces. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the problem, that feeling of chaos, and then introduce the solution. We'll break down what a workspace actually is and why it gives you MLOps superpowers. Then we'll get practical, creating your first workspace, figuring out how settings work, and we'll wrap up with some tips to really level up your personal workflow. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about a feeling I think we all know a little too well. That moment when your nice, clean project suddenly feels like it's got a mind of its own, right? Does this hit home? You start off with maybe just a single Jupyter notebook, but before you know it, it explodes. You've got scripts for data, different code for training, deployment configs over here, docs over there. It just gets messy, and it gets messy fast. And all that complexity, it leads to some major headaches. You've got team members using different code formatters, which makes for some seriously messy commits. And then you hear it, that classic, dreaded phrase, but it works on my machine. And getting a new person up to speed, it becomes this week-long setup nightmare instead of letting them hit the ground running. These are the exact issues that slow down real-world MLOps teams. So, what's the fix? Well, the good news is there's a really elegant solution baked right into VS Code itself. It's called a VS Code workspace. And all it really is a way to group a bunch of separate folders into one unified window. The real magic, though, is this one central file, the .code-workspace file. You can think of it like the constitution for your entire project. It lays down the law on rules, tools, and structure, all in one spot. And that really gets to the heart of it. A single folder project? Totally fine for a quick, isolated script. But everything stays separate. A multi-root workspace, on the other hand, lets you bring all the pieces of a modern MLOps project, your API code, your infrastructure as code, your documentation, and manage them all together in one window. It seems like a small change, but trust me, it's so much more powerful and organized. Now, getting organized like this isn't just about being tidy. Using a workspace actually gives you some legitimate MLOps superpowers. So let's talk about the why this is such a game changer. And here's where it all comes together. Workspaces directly attack those pain points we talked about earlier. You can create a standardized environment for your whole team so everyone is using the same linter, the same formatter. You can set up shared tasks to make everyone more productive. Onboarding, it becomes a total breeze. A new person just opens the workspace file, and VS Code literally says, hey, you should install these extensions. It's incredible. And of course, you get that super clean management of all your project's pieces in one place. Okay, enough of the theory. Let's actually walk through how to do this. You're probably going to be surprised by how simple it is to get your first workspace up and running. Seriously, it's just 4 steps. 1, open your main project folder just like you always do. 2, go to the File menu and hit Save Workspace As. 3, give it a name and save it, and if you have other folders you want to include, you just add them in. 4, and this is the most important part, from now on, you open your project by opening that .code.workspace file. That's your new entry point. And if you crack open that file, this is pretty much what you'll see. It's just a simple JSON file. You've got a folder section that lists all your directories. You've got a settings section where you can enforce project-wide rules like formatting your code every time you save. And you have an extensions section, which is awesome because you can recommend the must-have VS Code extensions for the whole team. Now, this raises a really good question. If you have your personal settings and the workspace has its own settings, who wins? Which one does VS Code actually use? Let's clear up that hierarchy. It's actually really simple. The most specific setting always wins. So way down at the bottom, you have your global user settings. That's for your personal stuff, like your favorite color theme. In the middle, you've got the workspace settings. These will override your personal ones, and that's perfect for shared team standards. And at the very top, you can even have settings for a specific folder if you need a rare exception. It's a great system because the workspace enforces team consistency, but it doesn't trample all over your personal setup. So, once your team is all on the same page with a workspace, you can start to focus on the next level up, tweaking your own personal user settings for maximum productivity. And this is where you make VS Code truly yours. Go ahead and install your favorite power tools like GitLens or Thunder Client for testing APIs. I cannot recommend this enough. Set files.autosave to after delay. You will never lose work again.
Pick a theme and a font that you find comfortable to look at for hours. And finally, create custom key bindings, keyboard shortcuts, for the things you do over and over again. Every second counts.
And that's our deep dive into VS Code Workspaces. You've now got this incredibly powerful tool to bring order to project chaos, to standardize your entire team's environment, and to supercharge your own productivity. So that just leaves one final, very exciting question. Now that your environment is completely optimized, what are you going to build?